Joining me now, the editor of Just the News, Joe Weber. Joe, thank you for joining Real America. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Wow. You know, every, about year, I think we just learn something more despicable and disgusting about the Clintons, which just proves that this dynasty, as they like to be called, is so corrupt, it makes your stomach turn.
You know what's fascinating about this story? One of the things that's fascinating to me in general is why these people who are so close confidants to so many people of power suddenly decided to come out and tell their story. But nevertheless, as you pointed out, Doug Band had been with the Clintons ever since he was 22 years old when he got his internship, put himself through law school at Georgetown at night. They were very close, and he was sort of an aide-de-camp to Clinton after he got out of the White House in 2001. They stayed together a long time. The rift, according to the story in Vanity Fair, which was written, by the way, by Gabe Sherman. I think you're familiar with him. He's the one who did a lot of reporting on Fox News, and he was heavily featured in the Loudest Voice Showtime story. Yeah, he's the writer. And nevertheless, he basically seems to think that the rift came when there was a dispute between Chelsea Clinton and Band over some financial dealings with his new business, Teneo, where he was taking clients from the Clinton Foundation and then using him for his, on which he was on the board of directors. And I think that's really where it appears to be the rift came in. There was also parts of that where he mentions that, and it appears as if Hillary Clinton took a cruise ride with Giselle Maxwell, who was a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, as you well know.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what's interesting to me, Joe? I watched that documentary a few months back about Epstein. And it was a small series. I forget if it was Netflix or HBO, one of those, right? And you've got flight logs that show the president, former President Clinton, was on the plane multiple times, well over a dozen, I think 24 almost. You've got pictures, you've got eyewitnesses from some of the girls to the caretaker of the island saying, oh yeah, I saw President Bill Clinton here. And yet his people come out. Anytime Hillary's asked, they deny. It reminds me of what we learned with the Hunter Biden laptop, where Joey's brother, when questioned by Bubalinsky, said, well, aren't you concerned about this connection with your brother being the sitting vice president? And he used the term plausible deniability. These guys just believe they are so far above the law that they can just continue to lie and lie when evidence is sitting right in front of the American people.
This story resurfaced just in August here when Giselle Maxwell was arrested, and the stories about the island, St. James Island, and Clinton being there, and the pictures that surfaced, and they denied it then. They said that Clinton's spokesperson, that the story always seems to change, but the reality is that he's never been there. So they've continuously denied this, that he's been on this island for a long time, and they remain steadfast that he has not. Despite the fact that it appears to be a lot of evidence to the contrary, the picture, whether it's real or not, certainly looked like he was perhaps there.
Yeah.
And then,
I want to pivot to the election real quick, Joe, because I know you guys over there at Just the News have been doing a lot of coverage and investigating on it. But before I do that, just a quick comment, because not only that story, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and all the connections to the power brokers around the world. I mean, come on, you got princes and you got billionaires that were buddies with this guy. We here at OAN and Real America are going to continue to look into that. And of course, the Biden laptop, a lot of folks have been asking, whatever happened to the Epstein story? What happened to the laptop? It's still being tracked. It's still being looked into. But we are in the middle of a national crisis with this election. And so, of course, that is dominating the news right now. So pivoting to the election, big things happening in Wisconsin. We haven't even heard about that state in a few weeks. Everything's been all Michigan, Arizona, a little bit Nevada, a lot Georgia and Pennsylvania. What's going on in Wisconsin with new lawsuits?
Well, the Team Trump's legal request for the state Supreme Court to relook at the elections was turned down. The judge said that it needs to wend its way through the lower courts. So that was a loss of the Clinton campaign today. But there's things going on everywhere today, as you well know. There's a hearing in Nevada today on the invalid ballots. And then we have some crazy testimony last night from an IT worker in Michigan who was working for Dominion, who said that she saw thousands of ballots that were jammed in the system being run through again and again and again. And so there's that. And then we have the testimony yesterday or 2 days ago, excuse me, from the Amistad Project, the affidavits that they signed, two people. One, Jesse Morgan, who said he was a truck driver who took out about 288,000 ballots from Long Island to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, got out of his truck and never saw them again. There's another one who said, yeah.
What the heck are hundreds of thousands of ballots doing crossing the state line?
That's what really remains to be seen. And if you say you're going to do an investigative, we and everybody else really needs to find and get to the bottom of that. We need to see those affidavits and find out where they went. That's still a big part of the puzzle that needs to be.
Yeah, good luck at getting the mainstream media to put it out there for the other millions of Americans who believe that President Trump totally lost, that anybody talking about this is a conspiracy theorist nut job. Why? Because the mainstream media won't touch it, because they're in the bag, in the pocket of Democrats. Period. Point blank. Yep, I said it. I say it every day. Not going to change my mind.
We're committed to getting to the bottom of it, as I know you are as well.
We're trying. We're trying. Joe Weber, editor over at Just the News. We thank you coming on and chatting us up about those things. Anytime we can try to expose more about the Clinton legacy of corruption, I appreciate it. So thanks, Joe. You have a good day and stay safe.